よ酸素酸素体中の隅から隅へだけど広くて迷子迷子手助けされてる働く細胞最高働くぞ働くぞ毎日毎日修行中
今日も雑菌排除排除細菌ウイルス出てこいや絶対逃がすなユーソユーソプロフェッショナルな働く細胞最高働くぞ働くぞ毎日毎日洗浄働く働く働く働く
Inside every single human body, 37.2 trillion cells are working hard every day to maintain a healthy, effective system.
And it all started in 1665 when Robert Hooke used a microscope to examine a thin slice of cork. What he saw looked like small boxes and he called them cells because they look like the small rooms that monks live in, named the same way. Meanwhile, in 1673, Leeuwenhoek was first to view organism when he used a simple handheld microscope to view pond water and scrapings from his teeth. In 1838, a German botanist named Matthias Schleiden concluded that all plants were made of cells, which made him the co-founder of the cell theory together with Theodor Juan, who in 1839 concluded that all animals were made of cells. In 1855, a German medical doctor named Rudolf Virchow observed that under a microscope, cells are dividing. He reasoned that all cells come from other pre-existing cells called cell division. That being said, the cell theory means that all things are made of cells, and cells are the basic unit of life. Here are the discoveries since cell theory. First is the prokaryotes, or the first cells. They are the cells that lack a nucleus or membrane-bound organelles, includes bacteria, simplest in type, and have single circular chromosome. They also have a nucleotide region that contains the DNA, surrounded by cell membrane and cell wall, and contain ribosomes to create proteins.
Eukaryotes, cells that have a nucleus membrane-bound organelles. It includes protists, fungi, plants, and animals. It is more complex type of cells. Eukaryotic cell contains three basic cell structures: nucleus, cell membrane, and cytoplasm with organelles. There are two main types of eukaryotic cells, which is the plant cell and the animal cell. Organelles. It is very small or microscopic, perform various functions for a cell. It is usually found in the cytoplasm, may or may not be membrane-bound. Cell or plasma membrane, composed of double layer of phospholipids and proteins, surrounds outside of all cells. It controls what enters or what leaves the cell. It is the living layer. Phospholipids. Heads contain glycerol and phosphate and are hydrophilic. Tails are made of fatty acids and are hydrophobic. It makes up a bilayer where tails point inward towards each other. It can move laterally to allow small molecules. Cell membrane proteins. Proteins helps move large molecules or aid in cell recognition. Peripheral proteins are attached on the surface, inner or outer. Integral proteins are embedded completely through the membrane.
Next is the cytoplasm of the cell. It is a jelly-like substance enclosed by a cell membrane that provides a medium for chemical reactions. It also contains an organelle to carry out a specific job. The next part is the nucleus, the control organelle. As it was being mentioned on the name, nucleus control normal activities of the cell. It also contains the DNA and chromosomes bounded by a nuclear envelope. Nuclear envelope is also known as the nuclear membrane, wherein it contains the nuclear pores for the materials to enter and leave nucleus. Then, let us dive in what is inside the nucleus. It has a DNA where the genetic materials can be founded. What does the DNA do? DNA is the heredity materials of the cell. Next is the nucleolus. It can be found inside the nucleus and disappear on the cell division. It makes ribosomes that create proteins. Next, on maintaining the shape of the cell, cytoskeleton is responsible for it. It also helps move the organelles around, and it is made up of protein. Microfilaments are thread-like made up of actin, and microtubulus are tube-like made of tubulin. Another part of the cell where it can be only found in the animal cell is the centrioles. It is a paired structure near nucleus and it appears during the cell division, forming a mitotic spindles. Centrioles also helps to pull chromosome pairs apart to the opposite ends of the cell.
Mitochondrion, or the plural of mitochondrion, is the mitochondria, powerhouse of the cell, then generates cellular energy or ATP when both plant and animal cells have mitochondria. Mitochondria is surrounded by the double membrane, has its own DNA, then the folded inner membrane of the mitochondria is called cristae, then the interior of the mitochondria is called matrix. Did you know that mitochondria have come from the cytoplasm in the egg cell during fertilization? Therefore, you inherit your mitochondria from your mother. Endoplasmic reticulum, or ER, is the network of hollow membrane tubules, connects to nuclear envelope and cell membrane, function in synthesis of cell products and transport. Two kinds of endoplasmic reticulum, the rough and smooth endoplasmic reticulum. The rough endoplasmic reticulum, or rough ER, has ribosome on its surface, makes membrane proteins and proteins for export out of cell. Then smooth endoplasmic reticulums make membrane lipids, regulate calciums, destroy toxin. Endomembrane system includes nuclear membrane connected to ER connected to cell membrane. Ribosomes. Ribosomes is made proteins and RNA, and the ribosomes is the protein factories of the cell. Ribosomes can be attached to rough ER or be free unattached in the cytoplasm.
Let's discuss about Golgi bodies. Golgi bodies is a stack of flattened sacs. It has a shipping side, fish face, and a receiving side, the transphase. It receives protein made by ER. It transports vesicles with modified proteins, pinch off the ends. Golgi bodies looks like a stack of pancakes. Modify, sort, and package molecules from ER for storage or transport of the cell. Lysosomes contains digestive enzymes, break down food, bacteria, and worn out cell parts for cells. It programs from cell death for apoptosis and lysis and release enzymes to break down and recycle cells parts. Then the lysosome digestion cells takes in food by phagocytosis. Lysosomes digest the food and get rid of the waste. Cilia and flagella. Functioning moving cells in moving fluids or in small particles across the cell surface. So cilia are shorter and more numerous on cells, unlike flagella are longer and fewer, usually 1 to 3 on cells. Then vacuoles is a fluid-filled sac for storage. Small or absent in animal cell. Plant cells have a large central vacuole. So vacuoles in plants, they store cell sap. Include storage of sugar, proteins, minerals, lipids, waste, salts, water, and enzymes. Chloroplast found in producer organism containing chlorophyll. It uses energy from sunlight to make own food, like glucose. Energy from sun stored in the chemical bonds of sugars. So chloroplast, surrounded by double membrane, outer membrane, the smooth, and the inner membrane modified into sacs called thylakoids. Thylakoids in sacs called grana and interconnected stromal gel-like material surrounding thylakoids.
君